to get together in a circle so we could start chatting about the place that we were in. And so this time around, I think we should all kind of like do like a ghost sound. So I think we should practice it right now. We're all gonna get in a circle and do a ghost sound. And when you hear the sound, you start doing the sound, and then we all know that it's the time to get together and talk about things. So like, cool, yes. Okay. And we'll all gather around and talk about things.
We're a bunch of ghosts who are very unenthusiastic tourists.
Shit. Ready to go.
All right.
Awesome.
So then, okay, what was the other one? Oh yeah, don't stray too far from the group. Some of these rooms might have events or other things going on, or there might be a limited number of light sources. So just stay with the group as much as you can. And we're gonna go around and we're gonna talk about. Easily. Definitely. Anybody want to hold Jackson hand? Yeah.
Okay. Yay.
Okay. And
also, before we start, I think what's cool is that we'll be like discussing how each world feels or whatever, and what we like about it and everything. And I guess how many people? So I don't personally like love watching scary movies and stuff like that, but I'm just curious, like. People thumbs up or thumbs down.
Oh, let's do a Halloween emoji. Throw in a ghost emoji if you love watching. If you like watching Halloween movies?
Some people like scary movies and some people don't. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And,
so if you like, scary movies,
Halloween movie.
Yeah, I'm like.
There's like that Living House movie, and then there's like Saw.
Oh my God, love it.
Right. Yes. Well, sure. Yeah. Yeah. There's a.
I mean,
that's true. I like the psychological
straight up gore movies like what is it?
Pretty wide genre.
Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust. Like straight up gore movies.
Yeah, that gore movie. Yeah. So there's different types of horror. So
right,
and so what type of horror each one is.
Horrific, but it's not like the same kind of scary as like Paranormal Activity or something. So yeah,
like jump scares and
I
stuff.
really like. Oh yeah,
we'll
and those are just.
Talk...
I don't like jump scares, but
yeah, me either.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we're ready to get started.
Did Varian have something to say real fast? Also, yeah, if you guys have something to say.
Oh, sorry, no,
yeah.
I'm just.
If you guys have something to say.
I think Rickety died.
No.
Oh, Rickety, no, Rickety said he was lagging and he said he'd be back, so yeah, give him a few minutes.
So yeah, if you guys have something to say, just make sure you use the exclamation point emoji when we're all circled up. If you or just jump in, but if you
Yeah, try to be considerate. There's a lot of us. We're gonna be talking, so yeah, either throw in an exclamation point or just wait for a break in the conversation. Just considerate of everyone. All right. Anybody see Rickety yet?
One last thing.
I think me and
Archie.
instead.
Okay.
It's fine.
Make sure you have at least one friend in here, so that you can, if you get lost, you can join on us.
Make sure you're friends with someone.
Yeah, and then also, if anyone's new, I see some new people, you can join our Discord if you go to endgamevr.com and join. We all talk about all this hobby events and everything.
Considerate of everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Owlboy, I love that.
Right.
I love your avatar.
I finally reached meme man status.
Oh wow, I love it. It's amazing.
Oh my goodness. Look at his little feet.
That is great.
It feels like you're wearing a costume, so it's just amazing. Awesome.
You're holding a real owl boy.
Oh my god. Lift him up.
I'm ready to go when you are.
Okay, if we haven't, I haven't heard from Rickety. He's not in the room.
I can message him if you like.
I think we might have to. He's not even online, so I think we gotta go with Moon Matt. Which is not a downgrade, by the way.
I'm a downgrade, trust me, guys.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with meme man on this one.
Oh, strong man. Alright. Just say Happy Halloween and be creepy and say Happy Halloween with Endgame and then with your host, Psych and Popolo.
Okay,
Close enough.
I'm not gonna turn towards the camera and then.
Yeah, Endgame VR is the camera.
Be sure to do your best T-pose.
Tell me when to go. I can't T-pose. I don't have enough room for
And
it.
also, you should all do, once you announce it, everyone should do a ghost emoji or Halloween.
Yeah, or one of the Halloween emojis. Do
Yeah,
one of the Halloween
Can we all throw
emojis.
candy corn at him?
Yeah.
You got enough to share?
Candy corn?
He does it. He's good.
We do. Candy corn.
Where's the
This is
candy?
Wow.
There it is.
I love the animation on those that it falls.
I know,
like
right? Oh, the
Oh, it's
Halloween is
beautiful.
really good.
It's like getting married except with candy corn.
Wait,
It
where
made
is
it much more expressive. It's very, very impressive.
Oh man,
You gotta
that's
keep
good.
going all the way to the bottom.
You know, there's somebody who's done this before.
Okay.
Good.
Alright, I think we're ready.
Oh, wait. You starting?
Yeah.
Buster?
Oh, fuck.
Are we live? Don't tell us when we're live, dude.
Yay!
Okay.
That's not
All right.
Ready doesn't mean going.
Let's do it. It's cool. All right. Let's
Hello,
go.
everybody. My name is Me-Man, and welcome to Endgame with your host, Psych and Popolo. And it's Halloween. It's pretty scary. There's candy corn everywhere. Okay, that's my exit. Stage left.
Nailed it.
Woo, yeah, woo!
Yes. Happy Halloween! Welcome to Halloween with Endgame.
Yes.
Hope you're having a good holiday out there. We are going to be touring Halloween Worlds tonight. So I think we should get started and go to our first place. Just for the audience, people who are attending, we're kind of going to start with the less creepy world and move to the more creepy world as time goes on.
And we're gonna talk about how they make us feel. So kind of
yes.
a
So after we get into each world, we'll get in a circle and talk about what the environment and hear stories and all sorts of stuff. So okay, I'll open up a portal over here.
Oh boy, I can't wait
Oh
to
no,
eat some
we're gonna have to talk about our
Dodongos.
feelings.
Well,
Emotions
whatever you
is
like.
not
just fear.
It's alright.
Have any feelings.
Friend.
You turned into
Dimitri.
Cleolacru.
Yeah, this was my last minute costume. Don't ask about it. We'll ask about it later. We're going through the portal right
Party.
I didn't know you guys were doing stuff like this, so this is a lot of fun. I'm really excited to be here.
No screaming.
Cool, welcome.
Perry.
Awesome.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wanted to
cool.
make sure if it was okay if I friend you guys or not.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, everyone,
I can't see
back
name tags,
together in a
but yeah.
circle. I think, so does anybody have a favorite
So is that the whole world?
scary movie? It is, yeah, it's not too huge.
Everything scares me.
Favorite scary movie.
I like The Shining.
Yeah,
The
Shining.
I like it.
I've never
Really
seen
good.
The Shining.
The thing.
Oh, really?
I'm
I want to
missing
watch
out.
it
I am
too.
the meme.
I think
That's a classic.
Is that a meme to not see The Shining?
From Ready Player One.
Oh, yes,
I mean,
yes, of course.
yes.
Yeah, that's what it's
But if
about,
that's how you
yes.
recognize it, you're gonna get a
Yeah.
lot of hate.
Oh my god.
That's
That's what I'm saying.
I
I am the
think the thing is
meme. I am the
indisputable
meme.
one of the greatest horror movies ever made. It's just terrifying.
I like
alright,
the Blair
man.
Witch Project. That one doesn't get like.
Dude.
Some people
I love
don't like
horror.
that one, but
Horror
I get
scares me
freaked
the
out
most.
when it comes to like anything to do with a
Hate it.
spooky forest.
Dude,
that one's
you
kind
never
of.
I saw
heard me
Blair
scream.
Witch right after my
It's
first.
probably
I
tonight.
planted trees and summer in the forest,
Same here.
but I'd never camped before, so I camped all summer in the
probably
tent.
have
And then I went after the season to go see it in theaters.
Everyone's
I knew a little bit what it was about, but Dark Theater by myself, it was one of the scariest experiences of my life.
Hey guys, we have to
So
go
far,
because we're talking out of time.
Oh, I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
guys.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so
Wait, so what's this movie, The Psycho, which is clearly named after me, is
Hey.
is this what kind of horror movie is Psycho? Is it like a jump
Psychological
scare?
thriller?
It's
Psychological
a
thriller.
psychological thriller, yeah.
So what's the plot? Like, what's the in like one sentence? What's the plot of it?
Guy
exactly?
lures girl to hotel. Under the guise that grandma is killing
Spoilers.
people, but it turns out the mother's dead, and the guy was dressed up as the mother the whole time.
Killing people, serially, I guess.
Ah.
So I have some fun history about this movie.
Okay.
Sure.
When they were advertising this movie, the
I'm gonna
director.
leave. I will leave you with one word. Yeet, yeet, yeet.
Oh, children. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
When they were
Halloween.
advertising this movie, what the director did was he got the film crew to come with him to the set with the big house and all that. And starting at the stairs, he would explain everything that happened in the movie, every single death or killing or intense moment. He would explain it all up to a point. And the point was, he didn't want you to be scared by someone getting killed. He wanted you to be scared by how he was doing it. He would never tell you how it happened. He would just tell you what happened as he brought you through the house and told you everywhere where someone died.
And he was just doing this with the actors?
He was advertising. That's how we advertised the movie.
Oh, advertising. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Interesting way to do it.
Quite a bit. I don't know about this movie, but I just read that he handcuffs two of his actors together and said he lost the key. And
oh no! It's like enforced method acting.
I've
had that imposed upon.
A lot of like good directors did that. Use The Shining's example. There's some quotes that say that. What was it? The who played the girl in The Shining? What was her name?
I don't know. The wife?
Yeah. Some
do you mean like one of the little
that he was
girls?
a little bit that he treated her a little bit worse to make her seem more scared in the movie. I don't know. Something like that.
I think I heard that too. Yeah.
Something like
to put her on edge and be tense all the time so that she was stressed out during filming. I don't know. It's an ethical question for sure, but it probably works.
Yeah.
yeah, I think you could get away with a little bit more back then on set.
Probably, yeah. Screen Actors Guilds maybe didn't exist. I don't really know about that, but probably not.
Oh, they didn't.
No? What? I don't know. There's a whole cinema history
so this was about
thing.
murder.
Yes, so it's about murder and mental illness to a degree, like sensationalizing mental illness, right? Because this guy had this weird identity crisis with his mother, and then also killed people, and weird stuff like that. Which I guess, that's a theme. I mean, mental illness is frightening.
That's interesting. It's kind of stigmatizing.
People who don't
maybe.
understand it. Oh, for sure, yeah. And then movies like this can capitalize on it, but they...
yeah, it's kind of exaggerated as a horror.
I mean,
I
maybe not
don't think
the
it's
same
much
depth.
exaggerated.
I mean, I don't think it's as much as the same depth as Psycho did it. Psycho was really exploring the same like the depth of the murderer. I feel like a lot of even like recent as 1980s, the murder is I am spooky buff guy with machete. So
the first Halloween did really well though.
Yeah,
the first Halloween was remarkably good. It wasn't just slasher horror. It was more than slasher horror for the first one.
Even then in Halloween, Michael Myers is just a kid who kills. I mean, as much as I love Halloween, he really is just he killed somebody and now he kills people. I guess.
I will say.
Really explore him as a character.
I will say I really do appreciate in the Halloween movie, where if you've ever watched it multiple times, you'll notice in almost majority of the scenes, Michael Myers is somewhere in the background watching, and it's almost like fun to look for him when you've watched it multiple times, knowing that he's probably somewhere in the background, even if they don't point it out to you.
Spooky.
Halloween and Psycho both do a good job with sound too, though.
Michael Myers actor when he was working at his haunted house out in Indiana. I mean, in Missouri. But what about Killer Clowns from Mars? Or Killer Clowns from Outer Space, though?
That's
oh my god,
that's a parody thing.
Oh man, I'm lagging out. I think my audio's
off. Hey, how do you guys feel about moving on to the next world?
This is
Next World.
Yeah,
Sure, I'd be happy.
Yeah, try Next World.
I thought it was Invite Plus.
This is a show called Endgame.
Yeah, I'm lagging.
This is a show called Endgame.
Yes,
You're technically in a show right now.
give me exact. I can't believe you said that. I was about to. Yes.
Join around. No, you're good. It's open discussion. It's open discussion.
I'm excited. I'm ready to get scared.
All right, this guy.
What was it?
Hey,
Make sure it fits all of us, I guess.
Hey, just wait for me. Wait for me for a sec. I'm just gonna change my Wi-Fi out, so this is a good time.
Yeah, we long boys.
We long boys.
Is it a good time to do it? I don't think it is.
Man down.
Wow.
Man down.
Portal's open. Let's go.
Sign, and I thought,
Oh, my eyes.
Cool.
Oh, well, oh.
This,
Okay,
this
okay,
reminds
boys.
me.
We're going in
This
hard.
reminds me of that.
Don't shoot, I
default
surrender.
VRChat image that they
Oh,
used
well,
to
that
have.
makes me want to shoot.
Oh, this
before
is
they got
much
rid of it.
better.
Like that default loading image.
Yo, can I have a gun?
Yeah, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Oh no way!
But I'm ready.
This is awesome. Wow.
This is Call of Duty.
Everybody, gather behind me. I've got this.
No, give me a gun. I'm tall boy. I deserve a gun.
That's all. That's all. I got a gun.
Bitch.
Oh my gosh!
It sounds like it's a 22.
Where are the guns?
Yeah.
Yeah, where the guns at?
Die.
I don't want to die.
Oh god, we should probably not all be firing guns.
We probably
During the stream.
Yeah, this works. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, those are actually pretty good guns for VRChat, honestly.
Don't worry, I don't have a gun, but I have a coffee cup.
Poplopo, I think we have a problem. People like shooting the guns.
Protection matters.
Yeah. Well, people, including you, I'm sure. I didn't even know the guns in here, so hopefully everyone will behave themselves.
Hopefully. Me and Me-Man picked up 2 of them.
It's Popolo and Psych. Alright, cool.
Yes.
They're the ones
Oh,
who
okay. Alright, everyone circle up. Make the ghost noise.
I have mustard.
I have ketchup.
Alright. Make a sort of a circle. This is not a circle in any way, shape,
circle,
or form.
please.
Circle.
Jokes like that.
I didn't take
Circle
geometry.
shapes.
You mock my art.
Okay, so this one is not as obviously like a horror world, but it definitely reminded me of zombies and stuff. And zombies are obviously a mainstay of horror films. Although I do have a question. Like, are zombies actually scary?
No.
Like,
yes.
Maybe.
Never.
As a kid, I was terrified of them, but as I got older, I got adapted to them.
It depends how you actually
gore horror.
like present them in a horror movie. Like it's like
Yes,
you either got like
exactly.
really fast guys like Resident Evil zombies, or and like all sorts of wild stuff like that, or you get Night of the Walking Dead zombies.
Well,
definitely.
Yeah, I think the zombies.
Yeah.
The zombies are most fearful to me. The ones that like where it's apocalyptic and like a disease has spread and it's spreading real fast because I feel like it's more of a realistic fear, so it makes it scarier to me. I feel because it's
overwhelming.
I think that zombies are the most scary when zombie games or movies are the most scary when you have the lack of resources, because when you have a lack of weapons, a lack of stuff, health packs or whatever, it makes you more scared and it really has a high chance of dying or something.
Like in Call of Duty.
That's a situation that like builds tension and everything, but you don't need zombies in order to do that. But I think like the things that's scary about zombies is the transmission.
It makes it scarier.
Well, yeah, it increases the tension, but that could also happen with monsters or I don't know, vampires. I don't know, something. But like. Zombies definitely capture the collective imagination, I think, because there's so much media about them. What do you got, Mean Man?
I mean, I think we're often that's often explored as zombie media is the humanity site, and I feel like that's where the real horror lies. Yeah. It's what happens with your fellow man. Like, oh no, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot Psych because you know what? I need those supplies for myself.
Oh, that. But like, also, if he's a zombie, like then he's become less than human too, which is terrifying. You know, to get infected, lose your humanity.
Well, that's another.
I think that's the most scariest part.
Red. That's another funny topic. Is are zombies really less than human? Because in the Rising Dead series, that's like a whole group of people try to kill you over that.
Well, the whole point of most zombie media is that they're not thinking, right? Like they just want to eat brains, and that's all.
Right.
I think with
that it's like,
at least for me, the scary part about zombies is like the collapse of usually the society, which means you are truly on your own. There's basically no help. You're like you can go anywhere, and you're probably still on your own.
A possibility. Mean Man, stop threatening people.
I have to say that one of the things that did zombies the best was Last of Us. It had that is one of the best representations of zombies.
Well, what is also like I think
but
it's important when you guys make references.
Zombies are not
hey, Lyco, Psych was talking.
When you guys make references to movies and stuff, can you explain what you mean as if assuming that no one has heard of your reference? Because I think it's interesting what people. Well, hold on. I just want to cycle. Like, can you just? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah.
So The Last of Us. The zombies are basically there's a bacteria that's real that basically it animates ants and takes over their bodies and it creates a fungus-like growth on them. And it's a mutated thing that occurs in The Last of Us that causes these. Is that it comes from a real thing that does exist in our world, but it's not able to affect humans.
Not yet, anyway.
So exactly, I'm hearing two things I think that are similar to what Lyco said about playing Call of Duty when you're actually playing a game and you're aroused, and so actually your arousal is closer to what you would be in a hyper-aware state.
Clarify what you mean by that? From a psychological perspective, that might not be the common lexicon that everyone is using.
God, like if you're playing a game, if you're invested in a game, your heart rate is increased, and you're actually more like your fight or flight, your amygdala is more activated and stuff, and so therefore, like a zombie appearing or a jump scare is more scary, and you're more reactive to it than if you're actually like just calmer and not really engaged in a game. And it's similar. So I see these two similarities. One is with these zombie things that scare me, where it's like a realistic possibility, and when it's more real physiologically, when you feel like it's more real, these two same things are both leading to fear being increased. At least in me, I don't know if most people find it more scary when things are more realistic, but.
Yeah, where'd they come from?
I think the spookiest zombie scenes in any movie, I can't list a specific movie, but I know lots of movies have done it, is where like someone's been bitten by a zombie and they're like just kind of coping with the fact that soon they're going to lose their identity. Like those are the spookiest scenes to me.
That definitely has a corollary to real life. Like if you have a terminal illness or something, like I mean, I think a lot of horror has to do with confronting death, and that one especially. Like you just know that the end is coming, and that's inherently terrifying, just on an existential level.
Not just that the end is coming. It's like I mean,
in
you
a
could
very
debate whether
painful
like the person is still
way.
conscious or not, but like for like a lot of zombie movies, it's like, oh no, I'm about to lose who I am and become this horrible monster. It's not just I'm going to die, you know?
Would it be
I think
scarier
there's a
if
big
you knew for
problem
sure
with
it was
that.
coming?
That's
Or
why a
if-
lot of
if-
people would rather. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering, would it be scarier if you knew it was coming, or if you didn't know for sure if the bite affected you, so you'd keep questioning your own sanity the whole time? What you didn't know.
Oh yeah, is this the moment that I turn into a zombie? Is this when I'm slipping? When my brain did this? Is that because I'm becoming a zombie now? That does sound really scary.
Yeah.
It's hard to know if I would be able to come to grips with it or not if I knew it was coming better, but yeah.
I think
Also,
I don't know. Go ahead.
should we explore this? Have we explored the world yet?
Not a ton. It's generally okay. So my performance in here is really bad, so we shouldn't stay here too long. But it's generally a post-apocalyptic sort
Yeah,
of
maybe we should
space.
take a
But
look.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
stick around.
Really,
And then
it's
we'll
pretty
move
much
on
Planet of
to the
the
next
Apes.
world.
Around and then...
Did the guns serve any purpose? The guns?
I don't know what I am.
I don't
Yeah, that's
know. I
perfect.
haven't run into any zombies here, but you never know. There might be some.
That's what it was.
And I know it's from home stuff.
He's a long
Hey,
boy.
hey, wrong movie. Not
Shoot
Planet of
me.
the Apes.
Shoot me.
Nice change of
There's
pace.
people talking over there.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So you're just having a chat
Avatar.
at randos.
Yeah.
There was an avatar that overwrote the IDs of
I
one of
don't
my
know.
other avatars in a glitched game.
They used a fog in his map. It reminds me of Silent Hill.
It's my impromptu Halloween costume.
Funny you mentioned
Ah.
that.
Is that the next
Spookier than everything else.
Hey, Zircon.
Hey. Hey, great mask.
Hey, Piranha. Thank you.
I said hi to you.
I was wondering why I saw that.
Flagging.
Yeah, she makes some great stuff.
You're
Yeah.
certainly afraid.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you want to know what's terrifying? Being in a porta
that?
potty and hearing gunshots.
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
Yo, hey. Yo.
Oh man,
Chatty,
have you read
mute
that
that-
book? There's an entire Stephen King book
mute
about
that
someone who gets
phone.
trapped in a porta potty. Like
Really?
he's going to the bathroom and his enemy tips the porta potty over on him, and like the entire book is just him trying to get out of the porta potty.
Oh,
It's
tell me, you need to
actually,
tell me what that is. I
like-
want to read it.
Oh
I
yeah.
wish I remembered the
disgusting.
title.
Is it?
I'm sure if I
it's
type in
disgusting, and
Stephen
he uses...
King porta potty, I'll find it.
How is this
Wait,
not a
what was
movie?
that? I just
I'd
found
rather
it.
die.
Isn't there like also
I
like
would rather
a
die.
I wouldn't say similar
Mug,
to the
I
Portal
love it.
Potty, but the one
Mug?
where there
Throw it
was
into the
recently
air,
like a
I'll
movie
hit it.
adaptation where like the
Okay,
woman was
you're
like
threatening me with a gun, so
being
here.
intimate
No,
with the man, and he had a
throw it
heart
into the
attack
air and
while
I'll
she
hit
was
it.
cuffed to the bed.
Oh, that one is
And she
very
couldn't get out.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't.
I don't
My
know.
audio is
Yeah.
like.
The concept of that
Let's
sounded
go.
scary, just as because it's
That's
very
also
like
Click on it.
scary. Yeah.
Should we?
Honestly,
can
I love
we-
Stephen King. Do we need to go to the next world?
Ace, we're
I
doing
think
it.
so.
Is everyone else's frame rate?
Okay.
Dying.
Yeah,
Mine are like.
Yeah, I'm hitting. The human eye can only see at 24 frames a second, guys. Don't worry about it.
Guns for crying out
Yeah.
loud. Holy crap.
Sorry.
Oh, did you max your safety in Endgame VR?
The pug or somewhere that's stable.
Oh, sir, did you max your safety? Oh, man.
Okay,
It's
we're
not
gonna
stable
go to
right
the
now.
next
It's like-
one. Okay.
Yeah,
this
ending in
one.
that.
Feels so weird looking down on you.
Oh no! Oh god! Oh, Papa,
Now
why?
this is my this is my kind of like
No.
scary, gloomy, dark, and a little bit red. This is my kind.
Why is it gotta be red? Why can't it be purple?
Oh boy, hold my hand.
Don't touch it.
This
Don't
is
touch
too
the
scary.
ground. Don't ignore me.
I can't even. I'm already just like barely
Touch the
in this.
ground.
I'm like, this
No
is
balls.
terrifying.
Touch it. Do it.
Hey, how do I look in this environment?
You look like you fit right in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I wore the right avatar today. I wore the right avatar.
All right. Oh, we even have a circle for us. Everyone gather around.
Guys, like chanting.
T-pose.
Oh my goodness.
An excuse to do
That's
all the
cute.
maths.
Okay, so
Also, the scariest thing that just
Unsanitary,
happened to
but
me is
cute.
that I hit the Windows button on my Steam controller and was just
Oh, that
hitting
is
whatever
scary.
Windows. Yeah, hitting the Windows
Like,
button
you
just sucks. So.
Younger. I'm female.
Can't see my feet.
All right. Okay. So this world is from. Who knows where this is from?
Silent Hill 3.
It's probably. Oh, it's a title. Right. Okay. So the last world and all the fog and everything kind of reminded me of Silent Hill 3 or the Silent Hill series, and then in Silent Hill, there's like the normal world that we know, and then there's like an alternate version of the world, right, where everything is covered with blood and chains, and like it's really spooky. So I didn't play Silent Hill 3, but this I think takes place in that like alternate version of reality where everything is
a game or a movie?
Messed
I don't know
up.
if I'm
This is a game.
There was a movie, but it's the game.
Both.
Ah, okay.
So, but Silent Hill is like really scary, like just as a horror game. Like, what is the most scary thing about Silent Hill? You guys,
The triangle heads.
If you've played it.
Atmosphere.
Pyramid Head. Okay.
Pyramid heads.
I'd have to say the basement's basement in Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
So that was really like that was like a whole new level for me.
Something I noticed about this world is that I think it like is supposed to resemble a church, and like religion's role in horror is kind of interesting too, because like religion is the entire basis behind the occult, and the occult is pretty scary. But you need religion in order to have that, I think. Right?
And it's another like possible thing that could exist or something, I guess. Like it's more psychological in some ways.
Sure, yeah.
Another good game that does stuff with both like occults is the Outlast series. They both 1 and 2 kind of touch on a lot of religious based stuff. One has like this crazy priest, and then the second one is entirely based off of like religion and this like society. This like crazy, and the entire society was like made crazy to and basically a cult like.
I think that works really well for horror because of how much religion has like dominated our culture, like the medieval times on like the Spanish Inquisition and everything, like are like basically like I don't know. There are so many things about that are horrific in a lot of ways, and in addition to the supernatural beliefs. But I think probably part of why, like, I've been terrified of the supernatural basically my entire life. Like, I've just always been scared of paranormal and supernatural stuff. I don't know if I would have been if I wasn't also raised religious and like raised to believe that things existed beyond what I could see, you know? And so I think those two tie in together probably pretty closely.
I mean, I feel like a big part that plays into a cult is the actual instance of a real cult. What was it? The thing with the Kool-Aid? I feel like that's a real-life event that inspired a lot of that hive mind Kool-Aid thing. For context, some guy brought a bunch of people down into, South America? And they started their own like cult community. Eventually it culminated in a huge ton of people drinking a bunch
that happened in the US, I think.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's about the US.
Incidents happened in the US.
They moved to South America because of reasons.
Yeah. So you're saying the real
reason
existence.
they drank the Kool-Aid was because they killed a U.S. ambassador, I believe, and at an airport. Then they got followed back to their actual cult's location, and then just did a group.
Well, no, but that's
suicide.
interesting. The reason they were told to drink the Kool-Aid might have been that, but the reason they drank the Kool-Aid was because they believed in their leader so much that they were willing to basically die.
Yeah,
like, they've trusted.
That's why.
That is scary. See, that's a.
That's why a cult
what's
has
scary
such power
about
and
that?
horror.
What is scary about that?
Like the idea.
The blindness.
They believe they're going to be teleported to the spaceship that was following the comet during that year. It was, what was it, 1993?
So they were deceived.
That was the other cult, wasn't it?
Died.
The
70s and 80s and 90s were full of cults. There was Waco. There was the Indian guru out in like Oregon.
Yeah, Waco was huge too.
Still Scientology today.
That shit was crazy.
Like, the thing that I find terrifying about that is like groupthink and like that sort of thing can really manipulate an individual mind and persuade them into believing certain things, and like the influence of a group's dedication and belief can like makes me doubt my own autonomy as an individual.
Yes.
That's terrifying. I'm terrified of people. Are you kidding? I don't trust people.
Well,
I don't want them influencing how I think.
Yes. I know, and I think that that's like I know we don't talk about politics much in here, but I think in general, it's possible that that's happening in real life as well. Like if people are able to be deceived into drinking Kool-Aid and dying, that shows the propensity for humans to be deceived in general. So it's just a scary thing, I think,
And
not in reality and in horror.
Just in group psychology, like there's pressure on us to conform to groups and things like that gives us social rewards if we do, and our brains are wired to respond to those, and just that doing that over and over again in a really isolated environment can, like, brainwashing is a real thing. Like you can get conditioned to believe things. It's I think that's scary.
And so I have another question for you guys. This is at a video game, which I think is interesting compared to a movie. So, do you guys think that consistently one is more scary than the other, or is that both?
Yes.
Probably.
It's because it's you, right? Everyone agree that it's the fact that you're there,
you're more invested.
You're walking, you have to push forward. It's not the characters being stupid. It's you trying to be your best.
Right,
so it's
personal element,
right?
It's immersion.
I think it depends on the person.
It's the immersion in the experience itself that is what's terrifying. And in a movie, you get a lot of that, but in a game, it's completely interactive. And,
and so it's like there's this personal element.
Also, it's like
interesting. And Piranha, I saw you had your hand up.
So I was gonna say that I think it depends on the type of person, because I also see a lot of people who don't understand video games in general.
What does that mean?
Get as invested
if
you just don't understand the like, even if you are into video games, like for example, like I'm into video games, we're all into video games to some degree, but we're not all into the same types of games. Like someone who plays RPG games might be able to get invested into a story or a scary game because they're into stories and they know how to get invested into stuff like that. But someone who's into like a fast-paced shooter might just run through a scary game and not give a damn if they die or not, because they're used to that kind of thing, you know?
I mean,
they're not going to be as invested into the
Whoa, hang on, we gotta take turns.
Take turns,
guys. Meme Man first, then there's someone over here.
And use your explanation points so we can see who's trying to talk.
Do the...
For me, it's really weird. I really do like horror games and horror movies, but I don't often find myself being scared by them. I just find the more kind of themes and the visuals interesting. Yes, there's that moment of like jump scare, but there usually isn't that underlying kind of horror thing. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, Chris.
1029 and then BW. I saw 1029, Chris, and then BW used.
So I'm actually the opposite for movies and games than most would say, because when it's a game and it's me, I know I'm fine because it's a game. But when it's like I'm watching a movie or playing some other type of game, it's a character, and I know that character can die, and I fear for the character. So I find a lot of stuff like that way scarier.
That makes sense.
So
your personal
to identify
attachment
with the character.
Yeah.
Or it's like kind of being scared to watch somebody else die in front of you.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
it.
Like I'd probably rather die myself than watch somebody else die in front of me.
Okay.
All right,
Would a VR video game too?
So like I find that, and I see this with a lot of my friends too, is that with movies, they can't hold tension throughout the entire movie. It's really hard. I think it's a really, really good horror movie to do that. But for the most part, they can't keep that tension. Like, I'll go see a horror movie now, and as soon as they make a big reveal, tension is gone. Like with The Boy, which is about like the masked puppet that isn't really a puppet. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but it just, as soon as the big reveal is gone, tension is gone. It's not scary anymore. But with like video games, I found that they hold tension a lot more because they're a more continuous process.
I'm curious. Did you see Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
Did you think that one held tension or no?
I thought the first one was all right. The other ones weren't really good for me. I felt that they lost it really well.
I think this is interesting because the video game thing again, and I saw Dimitri.
That was Dimitri.
Yes. I think I just want to cycle the game with the video games. Yeah, I was like, wait, I'm psych, you're psych. I'm like, the video games are interesting though, because Okay, cool. As you're navigating the video games, like you're actually using parts of your brain as well, like your motor cortex and things like that, and hippocampus to actually store like where you are in the game. And so again, compared to watching a movie, you're actually not engaging your brain as much. So then maybe that's how fear is able to be held more. Because I think Barry, and I do want to mention immersion, because I think that's like immersion. The amount of immersion is, I think, the thing that actually like explains how scary things can be for us, even though there's still individual differences. But like,
Absolutely.
we're more immersed.
I think it also can answer why we're into some movies more than others, or why we're scared by others more than other movies. I just wanted to ask if anyone had seen It Follows and if they enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, the sound made a big difference for me.
Yeah, I found that movie extremely terrifying, and
It Follows. Quick synopsis of that movie.
Yeah,
basically, the Earth has been taken over by a bunch of like these things that they can't see, but they have super good hearing. If you make noise,
What do you just? No, that's
a silent place, a quiet place.
That's a silent place.
Right, no, It Follows. Sorry, basically it's sorry, I mixed up because I was thinking about A Quiet Place.
Yeah, I was too.
It Follows.
Don't say too much about it. I haven't seen it yet.
No, look, they give this away in the trailer. So basically, there's this thing. There's like this invisible thing, and it follows you. But you pass it along through having sex with another person. There's like an STD.
That's realistic.
What's happening in this movie, but the way that it's introduced as a concept in the movie is very smooth and terrifying, and I think it's. I think the mystery keeps the tension throughout the entire movie, and the sheer dread is very strong. I was very affected by it.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah,
I think
that's
we got one more comment before we move on, Dimitri.
Hey, we've already moved on from that topic. It's fine.
No. We meant before we change worlds, but what was your? You can go back to topics, whatever.
Was back on more of the video games and the immersion, which honestly, when you first asked that question, I would have been like, of course, that video games would have been there. But he actually made a good point that I remembered, which was I would watch my father play video games, or I would play a scary game, get scared the crap out of it. I think it was funny to bring my dad in, and he wouldn't flinch the entire game while I'm like, like 13 years old, hiding under the desk as I was playing it with my ears covered.
Watching him play the game.
That's like peering out, and he's just like, I don't get why this is scary. And I think the whole point of immersion is the fact that it can do the exact opposite, where you can also really easily detach as well as attach. So I really do think it depends on the person.
And that's a great point too, because I've demoed VR to probably like 800 or 900 people at this point, and every time I'm trying to see like the psychological effects and all that kind of stuff, and every time it's always older people generally. This isn't always true, but sometimes they just don't get it. Even when I bring them into VRChat, they don't realize that they're talking to a real person and things like that. And so, and they're just like, what is this? I don't like it. And so it's interesting with a video game. I think the same thing, like with your dad, could be happening, where if he's not used to playing video games and being a character and exploring a world or whatever, like to him, it's like, It
seems like your imagination has to participate in the world of the fiction that's going on.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yes.
But you have to suspend. You have to be able to let go that this isn't real to actually fully immerse yourself.
Fears in the mind.
Okay, all right, we got to move on.
Okay.
Quick comment. That's actually why multiplayer is kind of hard. Like, this is hard because you're suspending your disbelief, but you're technically talking with real people still.
Yes, that's true.
So it's like it's not.
You have no idea. So many people are like, these are actually bots.
NPC, brother. NPC.
Everyone's like their AI.
I was gonna say that makes a good point, because horror maps in here I've done much better in multiplayer than by myself.
Where we at?
All right, this is the haunted prison.
Oh boy. Oh boy, I might crash.
Oh, I
I'm
remember
getting
this.
real rough at the start.
Do you mean your frame rate?
Yep.
No, I had the VRChat like blank room load in for like that happened like right as I stepped down. I was like, oh boy, did it just crash?
There we go.
Well, this is kind of an older room. It might not. We'll see how performance goes. I don't know.
If you want immersion, this is it.
Oh, flashlight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you got
this is when
flashlights.
we definitely have to stick together because there's a limited number of flashlights. So you're kind of.
I'm with my low
Man, me man belongs here again. God damn.
Yeah.
Hey man, go hide in places and scare us.
Alright. I know.
Perfect.
Oh my god. It was gonna be. Hey, it's turning around.
Hey, you guys want to get out of the way.
Hey man, I found your ego down here.
This is the haunted. Okay, try to stay away from the creatures because they will kill you.
Hug me, dude.
He just got like.
Dude, hug me, man.
Wait, I got teleported. Wait, how did I get teleported? Oh my god, no.
She's gonna hit us.
Hey. It's not a particularly intelligent NPC.
Look at its arm tentacle, though.
Wait, this is an
I'm
NPC.
with you, Lopo.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
How many VRChat worlds have NPCs?
So I think this might have been the first one that had a moving character.
Lopo, look out. Oh,
No, there's been ones.
Oh, okay, it's just.
There's
Oh,
some,
did I go?
like SAO.
Have you saw
I'm not an anime girl.
Big Sister Dungeon?
Oh,
That's
never mind, you're not
basically
talking
NPC galore.
Have you seen my
Torito was the first person to put in an NPC.
Well, I'm following you.
The gender poses something. Well.
Oh, there's stairwell right here. There's a stairwell.
Wait, did buttons do anything?
There's a stairwell up. I don't know if it can
Wow,
go
this
up though.
world is really good. I'm very
The door.
impressed.
Did you say they
Can't
can
go in the door. Damn it.
There's
Wait,
nothing
yes,
beyond
there's a
the door.
handle. Wait,
There's
there's a
nothing beyond
handle.
the door. There's nothing behind it. Go
It's like
upstairs.
the
There's a
door in
stairwell up.
Resident Evil.
There's a stairwell up.
You all want to see
Look for
secret of this
stairs
world?
up. Oh, this way, this way.
Oh, can you open that door?
I also like how small spaces allow us to all walk through each other.
Nope.
Yeah, okay, no.
Somebody just stole my flashlight.
Where am I?
Oh,
No, that's not it.
That's so funny. Everyone
Come
thinks
this
it's
way,
the worst,
I got
so
it.
they
Just
grab
go
the
down.
flashlight out of your hand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I gotta stay back, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Alright, you all want to see the secret? Oh, you found it? Yeah, it's this way. Hey! Hey! Guys! Follow the sound of my voice! It's this way! It is this way! Follow
This
the
way.
big orange spiral! Orange
This
spiral!
way,
This
everyone,
way.
this way.
This
Ooh.
way!
Oh no. They're
Oh,
everywhere.
they were super
Great use
creepy.
of marker. Great use of
Alright,
marker.
alright.
Oh, I
We're
probably should
going
turn
to
up my
Here's a
sound.
flashlight.
Execution room.
Hi.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Hello.
Or bad idea.
Everybody who
waiting for
wants
you.
to, if you all want to see something cool,
I bet you're
everybody
wondering
get
why
in
I
this
brought you
room.
here today.
Everyone get in the
Where is
room.
everybody?
Hey, someone lend me their flashlight. Someone lend me their flashlight.
Here,
Thank you.
Did you guys go upstairs?
Oh, what's this
Okay,
button here?
Yes.
Oh jeez, that's not the right
How'd you
button.
press it?
Where is it?
Oh, that's terrifying.
There it is. That's
It's on the
one I need.
table.
Guys,
Wait, where is it?
Okay,
Wait, where's the door?
Everyone in? Is
Hold
everyone
on.
in the
Okay,
room?
everybody's in here.
Over here.
Yes.
Is anyone in the room?
Yes.
I've already.
Is this a
Over here.
trick?
Hey, Psych, come back. Press this button here, Psych.
Okay.
Don't press it yet.
So
Okay, I
everyone
think-
in the room? No, yeah. Alright, you ready?
This is a suspicious tool.
No.
I'm scared.
I am scared.
Look at
Door's
me,
closed,
man.
the
It's
door's
okay.
closed.
No.
Don't worry, I have plans.
Wait, look.
behind you.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Everyone stand by the chair. Everyone stand by the chair. Everyone stand by the chair.
And by the chair.
It's class time.
By the chair. By the chair. If you're by the window, you're not by the chair. Not gonna work.
Oh my god.
Oh. Wee.
What?
Oh my god.
That is the secret of the haunted house.
What?
So not everyone made it in.
No, not everyone made it
in.
in. I hope they really saw what I was doing.
This place is so cool to have a discussion. But,
Well, it's okay. Well, look, I think we can have a
Oh no!
discussion.
Someone can
I
go.
know.
We can have. I'll go back. I'll go back and get everyone else. I'll go back and get everyone else.
Yeah, circle up, guys.
Wait. Yeah, let just me,
Okay,
man.
go ahead. Just me, man. Oh, I think everyone has respawned already.
Wait, no, just stay in here. They'll guide them in here.
You should have brought the
Stay-
camera with him.
Guys, stay in
What
here.
is
Stay in
this?
here. Stay in here.
I guess it's
Just
a camera.
let's circle,
I-
guys.
It's
Let's
meant to
circle
be.
up. Let's do circle up.
Okay, yeah.
And that's
Ooh. Ooh.
That was wrong.
Thank
So
you.
this one just, I like this space is really cool. It doesn't feel like the rest of the haunted prison, but it's obviously, you know,
Feels like Halloween Town.
Halloween,
It
yeah,
does.
yeah.
It feels like that's my
Totally.
favorite, like one of my favorite movies.
Hey, this place used to have music too, and it was like, I think it was like cool, like Halloween music, but that's okay. So, haunted prison is like a VRChat classic. So,
Sorry, I don't work.
oh,
sorry.
oh no.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
Is there anybody else back
Sorry.
there?
That was a rest joining.
No,
Alright, sorry,
no, I think
back to
we
the-
were at.
Back to the
I
circle.
was going back to scare you guys mostly.
Here's your
When it
here's your
happens,
flashlight.
it happens for everyone. That's interesting. You guys
Yeah,
triggered
I
the
guess
event,
so.
and it reset all of us.
I didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't
so
used to
that's
do that.
kinda funny.
It used to be to stand by. Here's your flashlight. I don't know if you want it
Oh.
still.
Yeah, gotta.
Meme.
What the
Get
hell?
rid of this.
Excuse
Third
me.
time?
I just.
I gotta go AFK.
I
but
saw
have
it.
Is that a
to
sneeze?
So yell at me when you guys are.
No,
talking
I'm being
more.
possessed by a demon.
Okay, can I
That
just yell
thing,
now?
I guess.
My thing's
It
broken.
really sounded like it.
My thing's
Sure.
broken.
Anyway, this
Let's
is like
make it
a
rain
classic
candy
VR
corn.
chat world, and so I had to bring us here. The
I've
next
never
world,
been here.
the next world I want to go to is a new world that I'm actually a like huge fan of. But before we move on, does anybody have any comments or questions you wanted to field with the
That was
world?
scary. I think
Yeah,
that
I
was
wanna
scary.
bring
something up.
I was pretty. Yeah.
I think that something that changed the scariness was the fact that we were all together making jokes.
Things.
Was that
That's
but
true. Instead of
Yeah.
just
to
walking
me, like
through
that's not as scary, right? Because like we all like keep each
Is
other
it-
sane, so to speak.
Is it
But
the,
compared-
the breaking into a abandoned place trope? Ugh.
That's
the
true.
joke.
Yeah.
So, like, what about something like the
Scooby Doo.
what was it? You know the like haunted houses you go through in amusement parks and how they are kind of legitimately scary. What if it was something more like that, where you know you're with your friends, but you know you
Mhm.
walk along, somebody pops out, interacts with you. I feel like that would be a little bit more
Oh
interesting.
yeah, I was talking to a friend about this. How like horror stuff. Like I have a hard time watching horror movies on my own, and I've been playing horror games on my own. But if I'm with someone or someone's watching me, like that's what makes it fun. Is when there's other people involved. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, I'm just nervous and like really
Yeah.
anxious about things, and it's not necessarily as fun unless
shared
I'm there.
experience.
Yeah, that's what makes it a most rewarding experience. I think is when you can share it. Because you can
I
share
saw-
fear, you know, your fear with others in like a safe place where you both know that you're safe and you both can reinforce that with each other, but then still, you know, get spooked. It's like the best thing ever.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Y'all want to hear a scary story?
I saw Chris.
Oh,
hold on. I
Who's
saw
appeared?
Chris use.
My hip tracker. No. Oh, there it is. Damn it.
Okay, Chris.
Sorry.
I wanted to bring something up because I don't know if other people feel the same way, but like horror games and horror movies, I love them, but most of them for me, they don't work because of how often they rely on tropes and cliches that have been seen before so many times.
I mean,
Does anyone have
that's
that?
the sad
Like,
thing about where we're right now is that we go into a lot of horror movies. Like
We're
we can never get that genuine experience of the exorcism from the very beginning. Like
That
it's
thing's
not
not reachable
yeah.
anymore.
It's not just like it's not just
because
the plot.
we
It's
know we
like
know too much now.
it's like
Well-
audio tricks. It's like every movie now, right before the jump scare, they'll go to silent audio, and it's like, oh, there's gonna be a jump
Yeah,
scare.
you
just
know,
know.
it's like a
and then
warning.
it happens, and it's not scary.
Well,
It's
that's
like
interesting 'cause-
these cliches have become so noticeable that it's like, how can you get scared when the movie is explicitly telling you, oh, you're about to be scared? It
Yeah.
doesn't work anymore on me.
But also, I
And-
think that's like it's like exposure therapy. How like you expose people to stimuli, and then they slowly get less and less scared of those stimuli. So it's like as we see them more and more, it's like slowly over time, they become less scary, and so it's actually a cue. and the cued response when you hear the silence, you're kind of trained to know that that next thing is going to come, and so therefore instead of being scary because there was no sound before and all of a sudden it's a new loud sound, it's become less scary because you know that's a cue.
Okay, here's a question though. Like, I hate things with jump scares because they always work on me like too much.
Me too.
Like I get so
never
stressed out
happens,
from a thing. So tell me, how do I train myself out of that?
Yeah,
I don't know. Personally, like, I'm just, I make music and stuff, and I do like audio design. So like, I notice that sort of thing, but I don't know if it's the same for others.
Well, it's like I notice it. I understand the patterns you're talking about, but like just the anticipation. Like if I know there's a jump scare coming, the anticipation of getting startled is what does me in.
No, but for me, like, I have to not expect it, or else it doesn't work. Because if I expect it, I'm like, oh, here it comes, and it's no longer scary because I know it's about to happen.
Does anybody know how to train myself out of that?
Watch a lot of scary movies. I think that's a person-person thing.
I would just like sit back in your chair and relax.
Accept it.
Just imagine what it looks like and just deal with it. You know.
And is it empty? Are you tracking VR?
Sickle.
The sickle's over the head.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
If we know all the cliches and the tropes and stuff, well, how do you think these Hollywood producers or video game designers would able to scare audiences today if they know what's gonna happen?
I don't know.
You have to subvert expectations.
I have a perfect answer to that.
Popolo is an example. Why?
People still went to see last year's Boo Medea Halloween 2, even though the first one was garbage. People just want to go and see things. They don't care about the quality as much as other people do. People just group up and go and see things, and they expect shit. They expect like, oh, maybe this will do something for me, but it doesn't. But they go anyways.
So they're less scared then. So Lyco's question, I guess,
too.
it means that they're not combating it as often, maybe, and that it's harder and harder to make things more scary.
Maybe so. Okay, can we go? Can we head to our last worlds that we have for tonight? This is another spooky one. I'd like to. We don't have to get through the whole thing, but I'd at least like to kind of enjoy the ambiance. Let's see.
No, you can only see black only. No.
Come on, bruh.
Yeah, here it is.
Only black.
Okay.
You live in the void.
Uh-oh.
No.
I like this avatar a lot.
Thank you. Melody made it, if you remember who she is.
Crap.
What is it?
Okay, the one I wanted to go to only has, it's got a player limit of 6 people, so that is actually not going to work.
Hold on a second, actually. Does it happen to be Abandoned Station?
Yeah.
I made that map. I can upload a new version that has more numbers.
Yes. It's my new favorite in the world. Like I love it so much. I was so stoked to find it. It was so good.
Yeah, that was great.
I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it.
The problem is though is that
That's what we did yesterday.
a lot of people in there.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it
never mind.
Fucks with the gun system I have.
Okay.
So like it might. I mean, we could all gather around and like talk about it in the upper area, but like going down into the lower area might.
No, it's also
might be
something
problematic. I don't know.
we can do like after the show. Like we break out into groups
at a time.
Yeah, and that might be something to do like after the live stream has ended.
Is it an experience that has a finite ending to it that is clear when it's ended?
Yeah.
It is. So I think maybe we could just if you put down a portal and we all got instance, then we could just, when we're done with it, meet up in a specific world, or is it not
it's
that?
Not quick. It's not quick though. It's
like,
kind of a longer.
10-15 minutes.
Yeah, and we're well, I don't know. It took me
Yeah,
longer
he has
because I kept
Open
dying.
Unity. He has to put down his VR.
I couldn't.
No.
So
I got
instead,
Oculus. I can open up Unity.
Yeah, maybe
to
just
wrap up the show.
You could.
To wrap up the show, let's go to Grey Pug, and then after the show, we can maybe check out the game.
Maybe you can upload it while we're at the Grey Pug, and then we can. Yeah. Awesome.
I'll upload like a new private version.
Yeah, just simply upload and that would be awesome.
Standard just a good one to go to? Okay.
Yay, I'm excited to end in the Great Pug, Owlboy.
Alright, everybody to the Great Pug.
Physical demons.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
Wants me to sign it.
Oh man. I didn't see the update.
Oh, no, my bar.
Let's see. Let's head upstairs.
What are you guys doing in my bar? No.
Taking a drink.
Eject them. Eject them.
Oh god damn it!
Oh, you're up.
Me no.
Please only.
I still got the drink though. That's what matters.
Alright, we're doing.
Hey
Me
man.
Where
Use
are
those
we doing
lanky
this?
arms to serve me down.
Are they doing this? Okay,
Upstairs bar.
Okay.
Second floor.
Everybody up the stairs!
Uh-oh.
Run, dun, dun,
Oh, he just disappeared.
Or
Can
died.
you eject yourself from the bar? That's the real question.
Maybe.
Wow. Owlboy, this stage. I love
Yeah,
it.
where did he go? He was
Wait, where
just
is
here
he?
a second ago.
I think he's downstairs.
Running my party right here.
Could you do me one favor?
Alright.
I don't know where he went, but yeah, Owlboy did an amazing. Obviously, if you've been around, you've visited the Great Pug, and I think it looks amazing. It's so good.
Spooktacular.
Where's everybody?
I
You
love
didn't
it.
hear them.
Yeah,
Yes.
good, you.
All right, let's close it out. Where's the camera? Okay.
Right there.
Ghost.
Wait, let me make
Hello.
sure. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure. Let me go get everyone else who's downstairs.
Okay. All right.
Oh. Whenever I upload this map, like Unity just kind of deafens me with the audio.
Oh. Wait, what audio?
On the map, there's like ambient
Yeah,
audio
I'm
and like it
showing you
plays like
my
at full volume through the headphones on the VR headset.
All right.
When you uploaded?
Yeah, because it stays in play mode when
Ooh.
when you upload.
Yes, Susie.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
hang around.
All right, guys. Let's circle up.
Yeah, circle up, everyone.
I mean, man, walking all over me.
Oh, it's welcome. It's
This is
welcome.
water.
I don't.
This is purple. This is purple grapes. This is grape soda. This is grape soda.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, you're not supposed to drink that. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us for Halloween at Endgame.
Any last
appreciate
thoughts?
it.
Do you guys have any
Yeah,
last?
what-
I think because I have a last thought, but I don't know if it.
What about surreal
Okay,
horror?
Who's got some final thoughts? Okay.
What about some
Oh,
like
I
surreal
like that
horror?
one.
I was talking
Yeah,
about Eraserhead earlier. Eraserhead it's the first film done by David Lynch, and honestly, I feel
David
like
Lynch is great.
honestly, the movies like feel and the word aesthetics is kind of blurred by vaporwave, but its aesthetics are great. I'd recommend to anybody who can see it, go see it. Warning, there is like a weird baby thing. I don't know what it is.
So it's tapping more into like primal emotions than anything logical.
It's got a little bit of body horror in it, but that's that's what I like.
Body horror is a good one. Surreal horror is good because that's like warping, reality, and that's like scary as we're alone in this unknown universe and everything. I find that scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
Complexity and geometry.
Go ahead,
I was
Brian.
gonna say I think it's incredibly brave that humanity creates environments and interactive experiences that are so terrifying. I think it's an amazing feat by mankind.
It's an interesting way to look at it.
We've surpassed evolution in a way.
Yeah, like we're playing with our own fear
Yeah,
rather than just being.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good
We're
sign of
psychotic.
conquering fear.
We're that.
And VW and Zircon.
Since we were talking about a little bit about body horror, and we were just in Silent Hill. I'm gonna recommend that people check out Jacob's Ladder, the film. It's the big inspiration for Silent Hill. It's a little bit cheesy, but it's really good. Like, I don't want to spoil anything because it's just the whole thing's an experience.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And Zircon, did you have a?
Hang on, I need to. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to talk about the sort of the fear that taps into our deeper emotions, the stuff that we can't explain or don't want to explain. I don't really have many examples of this, but something that springs to mind is Lovecraft and his
Eldritch horrors and like the things that can drive you mad if you look deep enough into them, sort of thing. Yeah, I love that stuff.
I don't know. I'm not familiar
Lovecraft
with
was
that.
into that. I think one of his quotes is like, "If we understood the nature of reality, we would all go completely mad." It was like something like that sort of thing.
So the realistic.
Yeah,
go ahead. Existential dread.
Not like in a political sense, in like the fabric of reality is beyond what we can comprehend, sort of thing.
The last chapter of Call of Cthulhu has some really good words, like the unshapable green mass. It's got some great words in there.
By the way, all of his works are in the public forum. So if you want to ever read any of H.P. Lovecraft's works, you can just look them up and you'll be able to read them for free.
And please, guys, post these things in the Endgame channel so that we can actually look them up and watch them. And stuff. Zircon, were you gonna say something? And I heard.
No, that was pretty much it.
Okay. Varian, did you have?
All right.
It's uploaded.
So yeah,
okay. Yep.
Yeah. I think all you guys had really good points about fear and how it affects humanity and how it's celebrated in art. I think that's really heroic.
Thanks. And I think from what everyone has been saying, I think it's like the more realistic things are, and the more that feel like we're there, it seems like the scarier things can be potentially. Not for everyone, obviously, but the more immersed we are, the more the jump scares or the other things seem to affect.
The Uncanny Valley is kind of scary too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Man, there's lots of wonderful things, and like.
Yes.
I love exploring it, and we're just gonna get even better and more creative and everything at exploring it. So happy Halloween, everyone!
Yay! Thanks guys for coming. We need a group picture. We take a group picture.
Cheers! Cheers! I got Pepto-Bismol.
Cheers!
This is what I gave everybody drinks for, guys.
Cheers.
No, I got my own. I got it from the tap.
We were meant to drink.
Shut up, nerd.
Yeah, I knocked the drink over.
In for a group picture.
Sorry. I cheered while it was still resting on your camera. Oh, yeah.
Well, don't be too tall.
Get in here.
Yay.
Hey, wait. Should change.
What?
Change real quick.
Not into something big.
Gotta change real quick.
Okay.
Like, your hair.
What's the word?
Come here, give me a hand, Pumpkin Jack.
The word is boo.
Boo,
Yeah, let's just say boo. Yeah.
Oh.
Boo. Alright, let's do boo.
Bees.
Rise again, for you are blessed and will destroy all that is.
I wasn't really as enthusiastic as I thought it would be.
Your sermon or the word 3 that we used?
I couldn't hear what you were saying. I've missed it. I'm sorry.
Hey, Ghoster, we're good?
That was great, guys.
Alright, cool. Thanks, everyone.
I uploaded
thanks, Ghoster, for
version of the
helping
map with a higher player
for being the film
Cool,
guy.
okay, alright.
Thanks, Ghoster.
Thank you, Albert.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
Of course.
Catapult, I didn't realize.
Yeah, oh my god.
What do you
Apple
say?
got a new bod.
Endgame VR, as if Endgame was one word, but VR was a separate one, even
Because
though your
it's-
name has one word and no spaces.
Endgame VR.
Hard.
Numbnose can be one name.
Yes. Well, also Endgame VR. All of our social media is Endgame VR because Endgame is always taken, but Endgame VR is never taken with like a URL or.
Right.
That we conclude our very spoopy episode.
Catapult. I like the pumpkin.
How you doing?
Until next time.
Thank you. I'm doing good.
So Chris
Seems like my
uploaded
control's a bit off.
version of his map if we want to.
Oh,